Hello there. Welcome to Tubi Tuesday. I'm Scotty. You're not, and today we are talking about the 40-year-old version, another raunchy comedy that I have never seen. I know. One of those things. Like there are some adult-oriented comedies I just never checked out. Like this, Wedding Crashers, super bad. Although I'm not a big fan of Michael Cera, as I said in my Scott Pilgrim review, so I'm not in any hurry to watch that. And Jonah Hill has started to get on my nerves too. So, I mean, he's fine to some point. He's okay, and this is the end. But like, to a point, he's just starting to get on my nerves. You know, he has a cameo in this. His cameos are fine when they make him the stars of movies. It's like Get into the Greek. Haven't seen that yet either, and it's weird because doesn't Jonah Hill have a cameo in Forgetting Sarah Marshall as a different character? And now he's in whatever. So yes, whoa. The 40-year-old version tells the story of Annie, who is the 40-year-old virgin. He's a virgin. He's 40 years old. His friends, played by Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen, and an actor whose name I can't remember, African American gentleman. He's good in the movie. They try to help him, hook up with women, and then until he meets a woman played by Catherine Keener who owns a we sell it on eBay store across the street, and they begin dating in a way. So right away, watching this. So it took me a while to watch this. I started watching this on Tuesday. No, yesterday morning, and I started watching some of it during work, and I just couldn't finish it. And then I was gonna finish it when I got home. I had a meeting to go to for work, and so I went to that meeting. I said I'll watch it when I come back, and I got home and I just went fuck it, and didn't finish watching it. And then today I came home and I took a nap, and then I woke up and I'm okay. I'll finish it now, and so I finished it. It's nothing to do with the movie. Steve Carell, all right, this man has made a career of being a comedy tour de force character actor type person, a wacky type. Like I compare him to say Harlan Williams. If you want someone who could do outrageous things, just yell out and improv, get Steve Carell. Like he is one of the funniest parts of Bruce Almighty that isn't Jim Carrey in that movie. You know, the whole which they edited off TV. They wouldn't let you say caca poo poo on TV. The TV version edits that out. I don't know why. Yeah, Prime Minister came today, and I do the cha cha like a sissy girl. I like a do the cha cha. So he's funny in that, and he gets smart. I like him. He does get loud, but unlike Will Ferrell, I think it works for him more than Will Ferrell's because he knows his limit. He can get loud, but he doesn't overdo it. His jokes don't keep going, and he's really good at the awkward stuff. Like you could look at him and you could almost say this guy was a virgin. Obviously, he's not. He's married at this point, but you know, he's good at playing an awkward character. It works. Evan Almighty, not a good movie, but he's good in it. He always has a good performance. He never goes too over the top with his performance. And this is directed by Judd Apatow, so it's no surprise that you get the Judd Apatow regulars like Elizabeth Banks and Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann, which is his wife. Seth Rogen is in here. He's been in some Judd Apatow stuff. And so you have all those characters. You get Jane Lynch, and she's wonderful. I like her from Glee. It's always funny when you see her hitting on men in movies because you know she's like a lesbian. So it's funny as hell when she's like, hey, I can take you for a ride. You know what I mean? If you need, just call me. You need to hook up. Like, you know. Even in like Glee, where she's hitting on men, and it's like, you know, it's funny. Other people say, lesbians should only play lesbians. Well, it's funny when lesbians, if you could do it right. Like Jane Lynch, probably the only one that could pull it off, where she's hitting on men, and it's funny because of how she does it. It works for this character. There, there's just like I have an issue with this movie, and it's that maybe they make Andy too awkward at certain points. And it's nothing to do with Carell. I think it's the writing. Carell plays it really well, but I think the writing of Andy being an awkward virgin is unrealistic. As someone who was a virgin until he was 23 years old, now I understand that's a little, far from 40, but still. They even imply that he has watched adult entertainment before, as some of us have. I will neither deny or confirm that I have or have not. But let me tell you, when you finally get to that point, it does help if you've watched a few things. My first time, I was awkward. I'm not even going specifics. It was awkward, but not as awkward as you would think for me. It was, it helps if you have a partner who knows what they're doing. And I did. And so, that sort of thing. So I think maybe if Andy had just talked with Trish, which is weird because that's my mom's name, so I don't want to say that, but, and kind of told her what's going on, they could have worked something out. But that leads to the third act breakup, which in my review for Wedding Crashers, I said worked in that movie. To me, this came off as cliche. I went, okay, do we really need to do the third act breakup? I call it too. I'm sitting here, I'm like, he's having a wonderful time with her family and with her. I'm like, they're going to do the third act breakup thing, aren't they? Sure as shit. Because they go a little overboard with this. She's trying to get him to sell his action figures that he has collected. No, I know they're worth a lot of money, but there's prized possessions. Don't do that. And he freaks out every time, because they agreed on their 20th date they're gonna do it, and he has cold feet because he's nervous, a little overly nervous. Sure, he's been a virgin for 40 years. That could be a little awkward, but also a little unrealistic. Like, if you're a virgin, like, I said this before, as a reason why I didn't watch this movie until now, really, was I found it unrealistic. Like, there's no way you could be a virgin at 40 unless you're not even trying. And that's exactly what it is. He hasn't tried. He just never tried to have sex, never meet women, nothing. And so that proves my point as to why this movie in real life wouldn't work unless you're, and I know someone who is probably over a 40-year-old virgin, but without going into specifics, there's reasons why. Some people have reasons why. Your disability, you are in a wheelchair, you can't do it, that sort of thing. That's fine. But Stephen Carell is not ugly in any way. He's a normal-looking guy. He could get women. I do like, though, that the actress they got, Catherine Keener, is not some beautiful actress with big, bazungas and stuff. Nothing against her. She's normal-looking. She's normal. That's what he needs. You don't go too overboard with the cliche of meets a beautiful woman. Like, it's not like Adam Sandler movies, where he's just got a gorgeous girlfriend in every movie he's in, because, he produces them, so he's like, hey, you gotta find me a hot girl to be my wife. That was a little Al Pacino there. You gotta find the hot boobies for my girlfriend. I want to be, just. So it's more realistic that way. That he has a normal looking girlfriend as opposed to, I don't know, any of the hot women he has. I mean, in his early stuff, you got the woman from the mom from Modern Family. She's normal enough. Layla, uh, what's her name? Finger Cuffs from Chasing Amy. She's normal enough. You know, and there's no one's. Well, then in Big Daddy, Christy Swanson. Kate Beckinsale and Click at Jessica Biel. Come on. Come on. As the movies keep going, the more unrealistic. Patricia Arquette, now. Her character was a nerdy type character, so that works for that, I guess. But, come on. What I'm saying is, this is more realistic than an Adam Sandler movie's love interest, where they're just overly hot and not realistic at all. Drew Barrymore is really the only hot, realistic woman, or the hot woman that I could believe with Adam Sandler, because their chemistry is so great, and they've done it like 4 times. Even Jennifer Aniston is a little too much. Just saying. Just saying. But, yeah, so I like that. And they do have decent chemistry. Not an overly negative, but, like, when you find out that she has kids, I was fine when she has a teenage daughter. Okay, that's fine. And then she's like, well, I have 2 kids. And she's like, 16 and 21. He's like, what, huh? I'm like, okay, she messed up saying 6 and it's 21. And it's 16 and 21. No, she has 3 kids, 6, 16 and 21, and a grandson. That's a little much. And then they start making jokes about, oh, it's a hot grandma. And it's like, okay, that's why he did it, to make those jokes. But honestly, having just 1 teenage daughter would have been enough. It's Kat Dennings, by the way. That would have been just enough. You didn't. 2 more kids is going over. We don't even see the 3rd one. What was the point of that? But I don't know. Speaking of going overboard, all right. So this movie is not that long. I think it's 2 hours, just under 2 hours. But so I don't know why, but it felt like forever for me to watch this. Maybe because it took a couple days to watch, but at some point it just kept going on. Like, there's so much stuff going on in this movie. Like, there's so at maybe the halfway point in the movie, he meets Trish, and like, okay, now we start this love interest. Maybe in less than halfway through, he meets her, and then they don't get together right away. She's like, call me. He's like, okay, and then he's too chicken shit to do it, and they go to a speed dating thing where you get a hilarious gag with Kimberly Page, that Diamond Dallas Page's ex-wife, where her tit pops out. I'm like, hey, boob, but like, this is not funny. This is stupid. And the scene, and then there's scenes at the club, and it's just like, do you need to have these scenes in the movie? We're supposed to be focusing on Andy's relationship with her, and these scenes are in here to spread the runtime, so we have like a 2-hour runtime. It's like, come on, let's get through this, because, you know, and even when he starts dating her, it's still very slow. And then you get the ending, where, like I said, it just unravels. They have an argument. He runs off on his bike because he's too scared to drive a car. She does try to teach him. And as someone who doesn't drive, I have a bike, but I don't use it. I'm too fat. I get exhausted too easy on a bike. Sorry, I'm too out of shape to do that. So I walk, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. But so she, you know, they have an argument. He runs out, and then the daughter eventually convinces her, you know, to go back to him, which is fine. But we have a more extended thing where he goes out to a party with his friends, to a club, and there's a whole thing with his African American friend, whose name I forgot, where he and his wife broke up, and then she's pregnant. I don't know. I missed something when I was looking for movies. I don't know. But uh, and so he leaves the club with Elizabeth Banks' character Beth, who is like the crazy slutty girl librarian type character, which, as someone who loves the movie Tomcats, crazy horny librarian character. You want to watch that movie for the crazy horny librarian? Let me tell you. But so she's like getting in the bathtub and he's nervous. You still got the freaking the freaking Kelly Clarkson scene. It's funny, the yelling, but like I don't know, like maybe that's just a little over the top. Like he keeps on yelling expletives, and it's like we get it. It hurts, but I don't know. I'm sure they gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted for that scene, which is fine. But anyway, so his friends show up. They're like, "Hey, we want you to get back with Trish, man. You love her. You gotta go to her." And yeah, and you know what's gonna happen because Seth Rogen's like, "Yeah, we're gonna leave. Yeah, we're gonna go." And he's just looking in, and he's like, "Hey, Cal, whatever his name," and he goes in there. She just accepts it, I guess. And hey, Zack and Miri make a porno like a couple of years early. There you go. But so he goes home to find her there, and she finds the box of porn that David, Paul Rudd's character, had left there. So she thinks he's a sexual deviant, and so I said earlier that Steve Carell is good at awkward moments, but maybe he goes a little too awkward. With like, there's an extended scene where David comes to bring him the porn, he doesn't want it, and when he tries to give it back, he starts yelling. David starts yelling, "Hey, I told you, I don't want your box of porn!" So he has to take it back into his apartment. And then when the scene where he and Trish are trying to get together, she's in the bathroom and he's just messing with the condoms, putting them on his arm and everything, and I'm just like, no human being would do that. This. Okay, I blew one into a balloon once, but that was once. And if you're gonna do that, don't do it with the lubricated ones and get shit all over your lips. Fucking don't do that. I wanted to see what it looked like, okay? Shut up. Just shut up. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't put it all over my arm or anything, you know what I mean? Just, it's also, he could just end up having an awkward moment with the daughter and leave, I guess. I don't know. But she comes in, she thinks he's a sexual deviant because she has the porn, or he has porn. Let me tell you something. I don't think it's, like a whole box, maybe, but to have a few stored away, maybe a few Playboys. Don't go overboard. It's not, weird. But she flips out and he tries to explain himself and she drives off. So he gets on his bike and tries to chase after her, and ends up going through this truck that was following earlier, which I like the gag because it's a truck for like I don't know what's called, eruption. It's like a condom or a pill or something. They kept following him earlier and he crashed through the truck. He's like, billboard hurts on both sides. And that's when he reveals that he's a virgin. And I'm sitting here way back when they had the argument going, why aren't you telling her you're a virgin? Because we gotta pad the runtime out to 2 hours so that we can have this movie at a feature length time. Because yeah, like if he had come out to her about being a virgin earlier on the film, we wouldn't have this awkwardness. But it gets even stranger. So they end up getting back together and they get married, which is very quick. And they're at the wedding. They get married. And I do like the scene where they go to the honeymoon suite and there's a guy buffing the floor. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to be buffing the floor for another half hour, so you have to wait in the lobby." And they just stand there and he just gets to start buffing. And Steve Carell's just like, "Man, get the fuck out." And so they, okay, I didn't like this part. Okay, they get to do it, and they do the whole gag of 1 minute later, like, oh, you only lasted a minute. Okay, it's not funny because it's not realistic. I don't think. No, I've never happened to me, but you can't get off in 1 minute. Okay, you can't just. I mean, I know there's premature, but I don't know. Like, that's before anything even happens. Premature, not you go in and then boom. It's not that weird. Although I was nervous that was gonna happen to me. Oh, I won't lie. I was nervous. I'll tell you that. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Not at all. Never. But and then they do it again. I'm like, are we gonna go another minute? 2 hours later. Okay, now that's way unrealistic. Unless you're doing like the Kama Sutra or some shit. There ain't no way you're gonna last 2 hours. Okay, you're gonna need like oxygen tank and like a big jug of water and shit. 2 hours. And then he starts singing The Age of Aquarius. And I just went, the fuck is going on here? What the hell is going on here? And everyone is singing, and then another song after that, and it just ends, and it's like, okay, what was that ending? They didn't know how to end this movie. Judd Apatow's like, how do I end this movie? I know, musical. Why? Why is there a musical ending to this movie? It makes no sense. The Love Guru, for all the hate it gets, ends with a musical, but they had a musical moment at the beginning of the movie. And he's shown to play his little sitar throughout the film. So that works for that movie. Is people hate it. I think it's okay. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. It's not a great movie. I wouldn't even call it a good movie. I get some laughs from it. Salini, this is my day of lucky. And anyone ordered the pizza. You don't like in the porno. You know, I do get some laughs out of it. And his master, Guru Hajishmalavina. I get some laughter out of it. Where this, to me, I just went, what have we here? What is going on? What, huh? I just, but I'm going to give this movie a middle of the road. I had some fun with it. I don't really know how many Judd Apatow movies I've seen, to be honest. I know I've seen Knocked Up, which I have somewhere around here. But I don't know how many I've seen. I also think Knocked Up is just okay, to be honest. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do more. Who knows? So yeah, it's the middle of the road. So what are your thoughts on the 40-year-old version? In the comments below, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.